Nice, big pop
Division
from
capitalize.
Division.
Oh, and what a huge hit!
At the start, but neither of them
Oh,
making
and there's a
contact.
shot.
Division, huge hit on the back of Drum Go Dumb.
Oh!
Hey there, this is Tess Schaefer from Team Just Cause Robotics. Today's video is going to be another of my event recap videos. Last weekend I had the pleasure of competing with my 3-pound bot Division in a Beetleweight Combat Robotics tournament alongside many of the best Beetleweight robots in the country. I'm aware that many people watching this video probably subscribed to my channel recently due to the amazing success of my BattleBots videos. As I write this, 30% of the subs on this more than 1-year-old channel have come from the last 28 days, and my last event report was back in February due to the pandemic. For all those who know Robot Combat from watching BattleBots, hi there, great to have you here. I'm more than happy to introduce more and more people into the sport of robot combat, especially at local levels where almost anyone who wants to can participate with robots that cost tens or hundreds of dollars rather than tens of thousands like the ones on TV. So what is Norwalk Havoc? For the new folks, I'll explain what Norwalk Havoc actually is, and if you're a longtime viewer of the channel or fellow bot building veteran, feel free to skip ahead to the fights. Norwalk Havoc is a Connecticut robot combat event and has run their events this year as feeder tournaments, where 4 of the best robots in each match qualify for the finals. Competitors came from as far as California to compete in this event, as this was the last chance to qualify for the final tournament. The winner of each semi-monthly match gets a $1,000 cash prize and a golden dumpster trophy, but the finals winner will walk away with $10,000. Norwalk Havoc has an unbelievable quality livestream for the event on YouTube, and I highly recommend you all subscribe to their YouTube channel, linked down below. Their view counts are what help them keep the event completely free to enter, so you'll be doing all of us a favor by subscribing and watching their videos. The full 12-hour stream is up, but in the coming weeks every single fight will be uploaded one by one, so subscribe there to relive each match as they happened without needing to sift through all the breaks in between. Oh yeah, that's right, I said free. Unlike most other robot combat events, Norwalk Havoc allows basically anyone who wants to show up with a bot to enter, COVID restrictions permitting. If you build a bot complying with their unique rules, linked below on the Norwalk Havoc website, you too can join any of the upcoming 2021 matches, leading to another final tournament at the end of the year. The finals will be December 12th, and the next Open to Anyone tournament will be February 6th, 2021, where for the first time there will be a featherweight class arena, allowing competitors in the 3-pound, 12-pound, 12-pound sportsman, and 30-pound weight classes to compete. Unique rules. Norwalk Havoc also has a few unique rules. Generally, the Beetleweight class allows 3-pound wheeled robots to compete, and depending on the event, certain weapons like flamethrowers or combustion engines or certain forms of locomotion like flying could be banned. At Norwalk, the main rule is an active weapon requirement. No passive wedges can be your only robot's weapon. If you have a multi-bot consisting of 2 or more robots, you get an extra 1-pound weight bonus, meaning for a normal 3-pound bot you can throw in a 1-pound ant weight robot for free. Because of this, I brought along my mostly 3D printed ant weight mini mulcher, which I'd hope I could use alongside Division. Spoiler alert though, I wasn't able to for reasons I'll get into later. They also allowed for either robot in a multi-bot team to have an active weapon, which allowed 3-pound wedge bots like Battleborn to fight with a 1-pound mini-bot that has an active weapon, or spinners like Sea Devil to have an inactive wedge mini-bot. Both of those robots were actually captained by the same driver. Robots without wheels for locomotion were also allowed to weigh up to 5 pounds, a bonus taken advantage of by several robots like Vibroid, Shrekking Ball, and the breakout star Droopy, for instance. Now, on to the recap for Division. The way this'll work is that I'll introduce my next opponent, show the fight as it appeared on stream, and after that we'll go over what happened. I'll discuss the damage on Division and its opponent, what repairs and changes I made to Division before the next fight. I'll also commentate over the fight footage from another angle if necessary, though the stream commentators did a pretty good job. I had my GoPro running to film each fight at 120 frames per second outside the arena, and a friend taking smartphone video as well. Fight 1. Voxel. First up, we have a sort of rematch between Division and Voxel. Voxel is an incredibly powerful and compact drum spinner. We've met in the arena before in Pennsylvania's Sword Fall 2019 tournament, but in that 3-bot rumble match, Voxel drove into the arena push-out after getting just a few good hits in. Division has had a lot of upgrades since then, as has Voxel, and there's no push-out or pit this time, so let's see what happened.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight, robots, fight!
Oh, and both bots up to speed, and Division decides to take his aggression out on the floor. Oh, what a shot!
Massive hits!
It's like Division just disappeared and reappeared right behind Voxel. That weapon is going so fast. Division's back up. Can he get some hits in?
Oh! We have
And
knocked
Brett
the
has been
top off
scalped.
of Brett the Brick.
Oh no!
This fight is
Poor
going to
Brett.
keep going, but we have knocked the top off of Brett the Brick. Division.
But Division
Can
stuck
you
on his
self-right?
back,
Oh.
and he cannot get back up. And Brett is angry. Brett is very angry. He's gone rogue.
And is that a tap out?
So yeah, that didn't exactly go as planned. First off, the front forks, which were one of the main add-ons that I'd made for this latest version of Division, they didn't work at all. They broke off almost immediately, and I really don't know why, because the forks that I had before were thinner, so I would have thought they would have broken off more easily, but apparently them being floppy and bendy actually prevented them from snapping off in a brittle fashion like these did. You can also see though, even at the start, before a fork broke off, I was having issues with the weapon spinning up and the robot tumbling, even though when I've tested this in the test box dozens and dozens of times before, it never happened. I'm not really sure if it's just because I started trying to drive forward at first too, or if the forks got like stuck in like a seam in the floor because it's plywood and it's rougher than the MDF I've been testing on. I really don't know. Even after the weapon got going though, there was this one gigantic hit right here that actually backed the set screw out of the pulley driving my weapon on the motor side. So I basically just wasn't able to spin the weapon anymore, and that's why I was unable to self-right. The motor was spinning just fine and the pulley was not turning with it. I was dead in the water. I could see that from where I was standing right in front of the robot, and that's why I tapped out almost immediately, knowing that even if Voxel knocked me back on my wheels, this would probably just happen again, and I may as well just prevent my robot from getting completely obliterated. So it looks like he got a nice little chunk out of the weapon tooth here.
Brett waiting to see if these two
And nick right there. And then the pulley set screw just like wasn't able to hold on to the motor shaft. That's basically the only real failure I had other than the forks breaking off, which is also a surprising and annoying failure, but I should have been able to keep going, so I'm disappointed. But I think I can either switch to a smooth pulley or make the flat on the shaft a lot deeper and use stronger Loctite on this, and hopefully that'll be better.
Motion. We gotta see some motion here.
And I just ground the flat quite a bit deeper. I don't have any smooth pulleys with me, so I'm just gonna have to go for broke on the flat and using medium strength Loctite instead of low strength. Even though it's not recommended for set screws as small as what I'm using, it's all I really got to work with here.
You can see little bits of plastic flying all over the arena from Helios's wedge.
Does it turn off all the way still?
Oh, there goes an entire blade setup. Up-mounted blade setup from a double cut.
100% throttle.
The entire thing is just lying out on the floor.
That's exactly what happened every time I tested it before. What the fuck?
And now they're crab walking. This is going to turn into a pushing match. We do have one blade, I think, still working strong. Double cut.
This is the same battery.
Still here, there it going. He still has one weapon left. One weapon left. Nice part about having two weapons.
50%.
So he's got one weapon and one wheel working. Helios full drive system, but no weapon working at this point. Gotta have an active weapon. Hopefully they can completely and totally incapacitate double cut by the end of this match. We're at less than a minute left.
I'm gonna try and do the self-righting.
Double cut trying to grind in with that single cut. Double cut trying to get the push in. Get some kind of aggression points that weapon.
Fight 2, Sea Devil. Sea Devil, as I showed earlier, had a mini-bot, but it was totaled in their first fight of the day, against none other than two-time Norwalk champion robot Shreddit Bro, driven by Evan Arias, the captain of the BattleBot Pain Train. Despite Sea Devil being a vector kit bot driven by a first-time competitor, Alex, he very nearly won that first fight, disabling Shreddit Bro's weapon and one side of its drive before his own weapon gave out. With that issue fixed, this was going to be a classic horizontal versus vertical fight. Division has bent shorter horizontal blades before though, so I was pretty confident if the bot could just stay upright that I'd put up a good fight. let's see how that went.
Thumbs up from both the competitors. Okay, let's start this match.
Division now with that new Tomahawk bar spinner blade. We'll see how effective he can get up against the big horizontal bar of Sea Devil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight, robots, fight! All right.
And immediately
Division
goes
slow
for Brett. Oh,
Division
nice shot
slow
there.
to get their weapon going. Sea Devil already up and operational. Sparks happening off of Division's wedge.
Division using its pushing power. Looks like
Division
they lost one of
seems
the
to
little...
be...
Oh, the
now
blade is up to
Division's
speed.
fired up that weapon. YouTube star Seth Schaefer showing off his new blade.
Oh, and there's a shot.
Nice big
The
pop
Division
from
capitalized.
Division.
Oh, and what a huge hit. Both bots flying.
Both bots flying.
And
Brett,
it looks
very
like...
happy to see.
And it looks like Sea Devil has lost their weapon.
Once
Division,
again,
this is their...
Sea Devil is weaponless in this match. That's absolutely right. This is Division's match to win, assuming they can hold it together.
Division, they don't make any mistakes. Like they could go on to win this.
And
as long
that's
as
a
they don't
big
do the
old
thing.
belt. Big old belt hanging off of Sea Devil there. Division playing the pushing game, trying to get the angle so they can get that big weapon to make contact.
Sea Devil trying to use its weapon belt as a whip, but I don't think
It's
that's
not
gonna
a
work.
bad
There's
strategy,
a shot.
honestly.
There goes
Oh,
the
there we
belt.
go. He ripped the
Oh,
rest of that guy out.
Oh, and look at that. The whole chassis is completely bent up.
That's where the weapon is mounted on the bot. Even if it had a belt, I don't think it'd be operational at this point. Brett, you could tell, is itching to get involved in this match, but it's doing a great job being impartial.
And there's a shot, and I don't
Oh, there
think
we go.
Sea Devil is going to be able to get up from there. They're stuck on
They
that
seem to
armor
be
bit.
stuck. I think we need to see some movement from Sea Devil. Show us some movement, Sea Devil. Can you move?
And now Division's going after Brett.
Show us some motion, Sea Devil. Any kind of motion. We've got a little bit of wobbling, but no translational movement. Trying to get him knocked over. Seth doing the good sportsmanship thing to try to get his opponent knocked over so the fight can continue. And it's over. That's it. All done. That is a knockout. Nice. Big knockout from Division. Robots, go ahead and turn off your weapons. Division moves forward in this tournament. Sea Devil, so salty.
Division almost completely divided that bot.
That was impressive. I was really, really happy to see that fight go the way that it did. Division did not knock off Brett's face this time. Division did a fantastic job. The damage that was done to Sea Devil was impressive. I mean, the belt was ripped off. The entire chassis was bent.
Truly, like Division is a very... it's been in multiple Norwalks. Hasn't gone the full distance, but I think it can still win some matches and get very far in the tournament.
So that fight went way better than the last one. First off, I did actually have the weapon off intentionally at the start of the fight. It was working. I basically was just primarily concerned with not getting knocked over. So at the start, I was just going wedge first to see if I could get him against the wall, but realizing that I couldn't really do that, I then just went for it with the weapon, and it ended up working out pretty well. Never got stuck in a position that I couldn't right from, and I was able to completely destroy the top half of the frame of his bot and disable the weapon after just the first couple hits. So that went really well. I was having some weird drive troubles. You can see that the robot kind of was veering to the right a lot. That was due to the fact that the right side gearbox, the mounting, like kind of split a little bit on the 3D printed gearbox, and that just meant I had a bit less pressure on the ground with the right wheel than the left, so it would kind of veer to the right when I wanted to go straight. Other than that, the brushless gearboxes still behaved beautifully. I didn't have any drive troubles in terms of actually like moving around, you can see, and I was able to take pretty much full control of the match after the first couple exchanges. So I think that this really proved out that most of the changes that I put in place were in fact beneficial in terms of the drive and the larger battery and the new weapon speed controller. I was just having those mechanical issues with keeping the weapon going if I got stuck on the ground. So that was something that I needed to address for the future fights. Still though, I was super nervous going into this fight that I would just get knocked on my face, unable to self-right again, and go 0-2 at the event, and that would have been a huge disappointment. But I was feeling so good after this victory, after not only showing that Division could keep going for a full 2-minute long slugfest, but that it was actually able to tear a Vector Kit apart was really great.
Alright, so I just came off from the fight with Sea Devil, and you can see that my belt is much looser than it used to be, so that's definitely something I wasn't expecting. I think the motor screws might have not been tight enough, and they shifted up a bit, but it kept working. I was able to self-right multiple times, which is good. These screws are gone. I'm gonna have a really hard time taking out this one because it looks like the head sheared off. But the other ones, it looks like they just pulled out. And scraped all over here. The forks are gone instantly, so that's something I'll have to revise for the next version. And I got a nice little chunk out of the corner of the back here. I'd like to do a video interview with Sea Devil after this though, because his robot looked not very happy after that fight.
My name is Alex and this is Sea Devil.
Okay, so let's talk about what the hell just happened in that fight, because I didn't get a good look at it from where I was standing, but I didn't notice until now this frame completely got ripped off. What did you expect would happen going into that?
I thought I was trying to aim for your wheels, and I got a good nick by your wheels, but you flipped me over from the hit.
Yeah.
When you hit me on the blade, the blade bent, and then hit the belt.
Oh jeez. Yeah, that's always the problem with long belts, is that your whole frame has to be super rigid to be able to deal with it.
You can bend it back.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it'll work.
So 7075 aluminum, I believe, for vectors.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a little surprised that bent so much before it cracked, because 7075 is generally a lot more brittle than 6061, which is what I use for the weapon I price on Division. And I've had those bend before, but only against like a huge horizontal where I launched myself into like the opposite side of the arena from the one hit that did that. But geez, yeah, that was an intense fight.
That was an awesome fight.
I thought I was taking a big risk at the start, because I didn't turn on the weapon since I wanted to make sure I could try and push you against the wall before I had the weapon up, just in case I would faceplant again, especially with the force coming off like immediately.
The weapon was dead, so I was like,
That's a knockout.
and then he started spinning up, like, oh no.
Yeah, but yeah, I was having so much trouble turning and keeping the robot straight for some reason, so that's something I have to figure out, because I could not get any bite whenever I was driving, and I'd just like miss you entirely. So, yeah, but that was a great fight. Definitely did pretty well considering it's your first competition, and you'll be back.
We still have another robot going.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll do well next time you come back, learning from this.
I'll bring a new robot, not this one. Well, maybe this one, but a better one.
Awesome. All right.
The one that I built.
Great to talk to you. You can see this guy got cracked straight through. I had screws pulled out of both of these quite a bit, but they held together, which is fantastic. Even taking a direct hit right in there, and another direct hit right in there. So can't really be happier with how 3D printed mount held up. So I just noticed that the gearbox did delaminate, which is what I was afraid of, but it's still been working. But this wheel's not keeping contact on the ground, which I think is why it was having so much trouble like going straight. I'm not sure if I have time to swap out that whole gearbox though, so maybe I can. I probably should. Okay, so basically, just before that fight, this transmitter bricked itself, and it bricked itself in a particular way that I bought the same transmitter before, and it did the same thing, but while it was plugged in over USB, where it basically just thinks it's plugged in over USB forever, and unplugging the battery and plugging it back in and holding down the power button and everything, it does nothing. So you just can't control a robot with this anymore, it just does nothing. So I had to switch, I had to rebind my FSI 6 that I had been using with Division before, that I always used with Mini Mulcher. But the problem is I have the weapon set to reversible, and the FSI 6 is stupid. Every time you turn it on, you have to pull this transmitter stick down, but because it's reversible, this is off and this is full reverse on the weapon. So literally, if I turn the robot on after, if I don't turn the robot on after and have the stick in the middle, it'll just run the weapon in full reverse when I turn this on. So that's the sketchiest thing I've ever done, but I was forced to, and I'm sorry that my robot wouldn't feel safe for that fight.
Fight 3, Drum Go Dumb. Next I had to fight Drum Go Dumb. Drum Go Dumb is a brand new bot named after a KDA song of the same name, with veteran Driver, who's a member of the team behind the robots Smee and Boring, both of which already qualified for the finals. She also had a second robot running at the tournament, a vertical spinner called More. Drum Go Dumb has really been taking a beating and dishing out huge hits in previous fights. Although the chassis seems to be all plastic, that weapon's no joke, and it really held up in the other fights. That said, Division has a lot of reach and can get a ton of bite, and this bot is all soft, chewy plastic, so let's see what happened.
Putting into the box right now, we've got Division and Drum Go Dumb. Very excited to see these two bots go at it. Division has put on some really great shows for us today. Trying out that new blade. Division, of course, captained by Seth Schaefer, YouTube star Seth Schaefer.
And Drum Go Dumb, two-wheel drive, invertible drum spinner. The 3D printed chassis.
Really good-looking bots, both of them. Division's got a very distinct look, and orange really is the way to go here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight, robots, fight!
Both bots up to speed.
Aggressively at the start, but neither of them
Oh, and
making
there's a
contact.
shot.
Division, huge hit on the back of Drum Go Dumb.
You can see the 3D printed armor starting to peel. Division. Oh, but Drum Go Dumb gets a hit
Nice
in.
work. Division end over end all over the box.
Oh no!
Division
Division,
stuck
get out
in
of
the
there.
corner.
Stuck in the corner.
Are they able to get out? Normally they'd be able to self-right in this situation, but they're stuck in the corner. Brett coming over, deciding whether or not to help Division.
And he
And
does.
he does. That's impressive. Brett not holding a grudge
Oh,
for losing his top
oh, no.
earlier.
Runs right into a brick wall.
Drum Go Dumb trying to jockey for position. Division getting some nice big hits. White chunks
Oh,
of plastic
we
flying
got
all over the box.
Tapping into that lid.
The top lid of Drum Go Dumb coming off. Some weapon-to-weapon action, sparks coming off, as well as plastic flying off of Drum Go Dumb. Division actually making
Oh.
some great hits. Quite the
Division
comeback
going
after
after
getting
those
stuck in
juicy
the
bits.
corner.
Oh! Oh, goodness gravy. That
That was a
murder
tap
death
out
kill.
from Drum Go Dumb.
That is not just a tap out. That is a murder death kill tap out.
That was, wow. So that was officially a tap out from Drum Go Dumb. Division also landed on its face in that hit. We'll never really know if they could have self-righted in that situation. That was impressive. So yeah, we're moving on with Division in this loser's
Division
bracket.
showing once again. It's a crazy machine. It
It's a-
flies all over the place, but it delivers some mean hits.
Mean hits. It's like all weapon. It's all power. It's it can self-right, which is super impressive. This is one of the bots to watch going through this loser's bracket, which, as we've already said, doesn't even look like a loser's bracket at this point.
This fight was super intense and a ton of fun. Right out of the gate, we were jockeying for position. I was seeing Division was biting right into that soft plastic, but I was still getting knocked around from their weapons, head-on collisions with mine. I felt like I was going to be losing a lot of weapon-on-weapon hits after seeing what happened from this right here. And that meant that I needed to do everything in my power to get around to the sides and the back. Right here, I don't really know what was going on. I think the motor came slightly loose, but it wasn't so loose that I wasn't able to right myself with just a little love tap from Brett, as you'll see here. It looked from the Norwalk camera because you couldn't really see, like, he just pushed me up, but you can see it, the Division pretty much rated itself after he just turned me away from the corner a bit, so I'm not entirely certain what was going on, but I pretty much was, like, really intensely focused on driving right after that happened for a little bit. And just super focused, and then for whatever reason it came over me to say this.
Thank you, Brad. I love you, Brad. I'm so sorry about what I did the first time.
So yeah, you could tell I was in a pretty good mood at this point, since the robot was pretty much doing what it needed to do. The older forks, for whatever reason, were staying on and allowing the robot to spin up just fine as long as I wasn't punching the throttle. And then I just got the right angle for this one big hit at the end, and you can see what flew off to the right was actually a tire, and I'll show a slow-mo shot from the GoPro that shows that better.
Except for the battery came out.
Yeah, it just unplugged itself? Wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
it just unplugged.
That was super sketch.
But yeah, the wheels, I'm pretty impressed about
Thank you for letting Brett self-right me, because my motor
No, you're
apparently
fine.
just like came loose.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So you guys ready for the arena to be broken?
So here's when I was like printing this, like I just like I went lazy and I only put like 3 screws.
Are these custom cast?
Yeah, that's custom.
It works for the most part. This looks like it slid up because the screws came loose, and the belt is like no longer tensioned like at all. Like you can see, it's like super loose now. But basically, otherwise it worked perfectly. And this fork's a little effed up, but yeah, it worked great other than that.
So other than the motor coming loose once again, everything seemed to be working as intended. This wheel took pretty much a direct hit at some point, and it was still fine despite the hub being 3D printed. Unfortunately, I didn't have another carbon fiber nylon washer, so I replaced it with a regular, more flexible nylon washer. But this is what the robot looked like pretty much immediately after the last fight, and what it looked like going into the next one. Fight 4. Nitro Hornet. Nitro Hornet is another 2-wheel drive drum spinner, but also a veteran competitor who's been at East Coast events refining his bot for a long time. The bot's a solid brick, and its driver Dylan has been around the block for a few years now. However, he had some monster fights prior to this one, and went into the match without the weapon working. He very nearly had to forfeit as he was trying to fix it just minutes before our fight. Let's watch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight, robots, fight!
So Nitro Hornet's weapon not working. They're gonna have to see if they can knock Division over.
Division's also very good at knocking themselves out on occasion, so Nitro Hornet's
and there's
certainly
a
not
shot.
out of this match. They're an excellent driving machine.
Nitro Hornet trying to get some hits in, trying to push him around. One good shot should spring him.
And looks
And
like
there, he
that
got the
shot
drum.
knocked that weapon loose on Nitro
Not a
Hornet. They're
moment too
operational.
Oh, there's a
Beautiful
shot.
hit!
Division sent across the floor.
Nitro Hornet losing a big chunk of their wheel, but they're still operational. They're still fighting. Great match so far. Everything.
Oh, and another hit. Division thrown across the arena and stuck on the wall, but Division manages to get off.
Division high centered on a piece of wheel. They knocked themselves off it with their own force. Very impressive.
But is Nitro Hornet's weapon still working? Oh,
Nitro Hornet doing the thing.
Something
getting up there. Division
appears to be
chipping
coming out of
away at
Nitro
Nitro
Hornet,
Hornet.
but he gets a
Big
hit in.
hits.
another shot to the wheel. There's a screw that appears to be hanging off of Nitro Hornet, but oh, Division. Oh, and another shot, and there goes the whole wheel.
Big wheel. Big squishy foamy wheel coming off a Nitro Hornet.
Oh, and another shot, but wait, has Division done the thing?
Division might have done the thing. Brett trying to give Division a little bit of a help. We're not seeing any motion.
Oh, but he gets back up and he does the thing again.
All right, we're gonna see if we can see some motion.
Brett
Show
trying to
some
help out,
motion here,
just,
guys.
not effectively. Come on, Brett.
All right, when we get to the end of this green bar, that's the end of this fight. And Division is knocked out. Let's see how this goes. And that's it, knockout.
Nitro Hornet with the come from behind victory.
Nitro Hornet goes into this match without even a working weapon, comes out of this match the winner.
This fight had a lot of back and forth, and there was lots of action in there. I was really surprised when I suddenly freed Nitro Hornet's weapon and it was suddenly spinning up again, but I wasn't even a little bit concerned about it after having seen what I was able to do against Drum Go Dumb. I was really just concerned about making sure that my robot stayed upright, because I knew that against Drum Go Dumb the motor had shaken loose, and I was really concerned about that happening again, which unfortunately it did. Towards the end of the fight, I made one critical mistake, and that was trying to be a good sport and put on a good show for everybody, because I probably could have just left Nitro Hornet trying to move around with one wheel and it would have gotten counted out since it couldn't leave the circle that it was spinning within. But that's kind of just who I am, I guess, and unfortunately it didn't work out for me this time. Oh well. I also found out after this fight, though, that the only damage I received was not this time just the motor coming loose. I actually had one of the bearings at the back of the motor explode. So even if the tension hadn't been loosened and I was able to self-right and keep going. I'm not sure if the weapon system would have held up for the 3 minutes or what would have really happened if I had tried. I tried spinning it up with the exploded bearing once at home, and the motor locked up and immediately started smoking after about 2 seconds, so I shut it off and then disassembled it to find that there were steel ball bearings all over the magnets on the inside of the bell. So yeah, definitely not an ideal situation to be in.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Dylan McCarthy, driver of Nitro Hornet. So we just had a fight. I started the fight without a weapon, but he was able to... He hit my drum so hard that it shook it loose, and I was able to spin the weapon. So we had a couple of weapon-to-weapon hits, then the weapon broke again.
And then my weapon motor apparently the belt came slack, and I think that probably the motor screws shifted again, but I don't know exactly. Otherwise, Division looks to be good. The only other damage I noticed was this washer from this tire's gone, but I was still able to drive fine because I cloned the, I basically made 3D printed clones of Fingertech's twist hubs, so that it still engages, but like,
my robot is definitely a lot worse for wear.
Oof, yeah, I can't believe that screw is just like, went through there.
Angle or something.
And this hub is...
That is the most damage I've ever seen happen to one of these wheels.
Jeez. And this is one of the Bobcat's D2 wheels, right? Oh man.
Pretty much peeled open.
Yeah, a couple more seconds, I had been upright and I could have maybe taken that out. But this was
stayed upright, you would have
This was definitely a close fight, and you deserve the win for me not being able to actually use my weapon, so like that's totally fair.
You opened it on both sides.
Alright, that was brutal, but all of my fights today, even if I haven't won, have been entertaining, and I can't thank you enough for making that an entertaining fight.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I don't know exactly what happened to this, but it's crunchy AF. I think the set screw came loose and the motor bell is like magneting itself all over the place, so whatever it wants to. The fact that this motor was still spinning at the end is like frankly unbelievable.
I think that I will be able to come back way better than this. Probably be using a special type of pulley called a Fairlock pulley that uses a clamping hub design, and that allows it to slip when there are huge impacts but still deliver the torque needed to self-right. Basically like having a slip clutch built right into the pulley as it connects to the motor shaft. And I'll be switching to motors that come standard with 5mm shafts instead of putting in my own jankily lathed 4mm ones in motors that came with 1/8" ones like I have now, as well as switching to a 4S battery and a much bigger, torquier motor that runs at a lower KV. If you want to keep up on my progress and the changes I'll be making, or you're interested in hearing detailed post-fight commentary like this after Bloodsport BattleBots fights, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I've got a whole bunch of stuff planned for Division and for the BattleBots 2020 season. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos or robot upgrades, leave a comment down below. While you're at it, if you liked the video, hit the like button. Thanks for watching.